Hi everyone, welcome back to the video, another session about here we're gonna look about the Python interactive shells and the terminal, how we can use how can be more productive using these interactive shells and the terminal. So I'd like to give an uh, example as well as I will show how we can easily do that one by one. Okay, so basically, this is your code, right? For example, this is what we code before. So when you click this button, yeah, I think you can see that. Yeah, it will show the terminal, right? Show the terminal. Yeah. So okay. Uh, so here, what you can see, you can see uh, the output of this code, right? So, but there are another window called the Python interactive shells that you can name it on-demand interpreter. So this is basically what happened. You have to save this code with the .py. Then this is a different subject that uh, I have to teach you that before we are getting to the in Python interactive shell. Basically, we know the Python interpreter. What happened when you save a file with the .py and you are asking the OS to interpret those stuff, or and you are expecting an output from the interactive. I mean, in the when you run through any IDE now we are using the VS Code IDE. So um, for a moment here we are going to look the behind scenes of how a piece of Python or the source code converted into the executable code. Okay, I will explain the workflow in a nutshell, but don't think it's a big deal. But I would like to give a small example as well. Let's start with word interpreter. So basically, when you code, you have to save with extension with the .py extension, and the name is ABC, or you can say the code. Here we have mentioned the data types .py. Then what happened is in the end the so-called in Python interpreter. In the interpreter, we have different things like the lexing, parsing, compiling interpreter. But what happened in a lexing? Lexing is basically breaks the line. Actually, it will breaks a line of code into tokens actually, and we have next section is parsing. The parse which will those token already it generates the token, right? Or it will break the line into the tokens, right? So the parser use these tokens and generate a stack that's called abstract systems tree, that is a different subjects that we'll learn in a data structure later, and it will depict a relationship between the tokens, so how each tokens are related each other. So that's what the parsing is doing. So after that only it will go to the compiler, and the compiler turns the AST that we mentioned, abstract system tree, into the code objects, and finally interpreter the interpret the executable each code object, and finally we will get the output. That's what happened behind the scene of each code when you save with the extension .py. So here I would like to give another on-demand interpreter. On-demand interpreter means uh, uh, you are using by. So this is the on-demand interpreter, or you can say the Python interactive shell. Here what happened? For example, we named the vegetable equal to 7. So if you mention, so it will make you as it will get the output or get the stored value 7. So like that, it's an instant or on demand interpreter. um, it will help you to while you are coding, you can use these terminal interactive shells to test yourself, test your code, and test whatever things you need. For example, try we can try with what you code before in the data types.py. Here the vegetables that data I already given. Next one is food, right? So I'm saying 5 and so okay. uh, yeah. uh, so what happened if uh, I asking or return the value of total expenses here? Oh, it's a multiplication. We haven't changed. I will make it plus. Okay, so here what happened is if I run this code, I will get the output of uh, 7 plus 5, that is 13, right? Sorry, yeah, 7 plus 5, that's 12, right? So here, uh, for this one, you have to use the print function. So what happened? You have assigned the value 7 to the vegetable, 5 to the food, and total expenses. You have added both the variable vegetable and food, and then print the total expenses. So you will get the value of total, right? So here you don't need to use the print function because in this terminal it's saved already. So if you call a particular function, if you call a particular even the variable, show what it has. So we already mentioned each variable seems to be a bucket. It saves, it carries the data. So when you use this terminal, when you use the interactive shells, what happened is when you return the when you call the variable, it will show up what it has. For example, let's okay. Okay, so you mentioned spelling is different, but anyway, it makes sense, right? So it will show the total expenses equal to uh, total, right? So this is the good thing about a programmer. And what is the difference between these and the the interactive shells? Actually, it won't save once you close the window. You won't get the value. You have to declare it all together from the beginning. It won't save basically. But what the advantage of these by the interactive shell? um, I can say this is the lifesaver moment. For example, if you are doing some big program, but you have to do a small testing, so that you can try here. Later, I will explain. Not in this video. Later, I will explain how we can get the use the help function to get all the functions, all the attributes of a particular functions, and how you can make use in your productive coding as well. So this is a good thing. And yeah, I'm gonna close it. And yeah, I would like to explain one thing as well. When you uh, when you get this call, you can make exit. So it will exit, yeah, exit from this this code as well. So yeah, even you can split the function. So we can split the function. This is another advantage of you. Why? Because for example, here one side you can see the code which you have uh, typed in the .py session, and here you can uh, see the Python interactive cell apparently. So this is a good thing, and it is the productive tip actually. And this is not you can use the this IDE as a VS Code. You can use any IDE, and this is yeah split for function. Um, for example, so sometimes it won't work properly. What you can do, close all the files or close all the terminals and create a new one. So this will make you more easy. And here you can see all the opened the terminal. And yeah, so I think you have seen before I have used the CLS function. I'm using the Windows OS, so for cleaning all the stuff, unnecessary stuff, you can use the CLS. But in Linux and Mac OS, you can use the function, the clear function. It will make sense. But here as well, it will work. But CLS as well, it is also work here. So here you can use the help function. How we can make use of the help function in the terminal, that we learned later while doing core learning and core learning of the different data types and the functions as well. So this is all about these sessions about the Python interactive shells, how you can make use of your code more productive and coding more productive. So that's all about this session. Thank you guys. Bye.